Happy January, everyone. So, likely, if you're anything like me or the rest of the human race, you are starting to reflect and resolute begin a new year, right? You're thinking, oh, wow, how will I finally accomplish that annual goal that I have, the New Year's resolution I have every year to improve my health? Amazingly, I have that same goal, right? We all do. We all do. How are we going to improve ourselves? Okay. So I was really amazed as I was researching the best way to sustain and adopt fitness goals that really leadership goals go right along with it. So I want to talk to you about 4 ways that you can elevate both your fitness routine and your leadership. And you might think that the two have nothing in common. Well, let me tell you, they do, right? So you can be the leader that you've always wanted to be by focusing on yourself first, always. Self comes first, but also elevating your leadership. Just crank it up a notch, right? And the first thing I want to talk to you about is to ditch the all or nothing mindset. A lot of times people will skip movement, right? And that's, I'm not even talking about fitness or having a goal for fitness. I'm talking about having a goal for just increasing your movement. And sitting is the new smoking. Remember that, right? So we have this all or nothing. Well, I blew past the time that I had set aside to go to the gym or lift weights or do a yoga class. So therefore, I'm not going to work out today. Well, you can still incorporate movement. And there's tons of research out there. Just read a book by a great author named Michelle Seeger. The book was called No Sweat and How to Sustain Movement for the rest of your life. And the big, she says you got to ditch the all or nothing thing. So we hear leaders say that all the time too. Well, I got really carried away. I was on a project and all of a sudden I noticed that I hadn't rounded on my employees in like two months or 2 years. The whirlwind sucked me up, so I didn't get to anyone today. I didn't do validation rounding on any patients. So ditch that all or nothing mindset because, again, a little is more than you did yesterday, right? Rounding on a third of your high-performing humans that are on your team this month instead of all of them is more than you did last month. And it's still better than nothing, right? It's still better than nothing. The second thing is to work with the time you got. And these two kind of go together, right? If you say to yourself, I'm going to start a new fitness routine and new movement routine, maybe in 2022, and I'm going to leave work every day and go to a yoga class by 5 o'clock every day and then get home and be Superwoman or Superman and make dinner for my family and help kids with homework. No, you're not, right? No, you're not. And then what do? It's like, well, I didn't do that. I didn't make that happen. And so I'm going to do nothing, right? If you see 5 minutes that you have in your day, take 5 minutes. And this really, really speaks to ditching the email habit and the Facebook habit, all right? Because those are mind and soul sucking things that happen to you during the day that really are just placeholders. Well, could you take a mini walk instead? Could you round on one employee? Could you develop an action plan for 1 month of your goal action plan? So if you don't have an hour, take a half an hour. If you don't have a half an hour, take 10 minutes, right? Work with the time that you have. So the third thing is to love what you do. Love what you do. This especially works with fitness, any sort of fitness plan or any sort of movement that you do. It's like if it's painful, you're not going to do it anymore, right? If you hate it, if it sucks, you're not going to do it anymore. So what makes it not suck, right? What makes you love it? Make that happen, right? Make that happen. But in order to do that, you have to be mindful and notice when you love something. The other thing is with your job and with your leadership, whatever you do, really, really mindfully consider, what do I love about my job? There's got to be one thing. And don't delegate that, right? Lacey Jo Matheson, I hope you're listening to this. Lacey Jo was my assistant director when I had a big med-surg unit. We had 120 employees together. And the requirement was every inpatient every day gets rounded on. And so she was assigned the majority of the validation rounding. And of course, as the director of the department, I was continuously doing evaluations and rounding on employees and doing a schedule and doing budgets and doing payroll and right? The stuff that leaders do. And so she said to me one day, smart girl, 26 years old, genius, okay? She said, Jane, I notice how much you get out of doing validation rounding on our patients. You're only assigned 5 rooms a day. I'm assigned 25 rooms a day, but I know how much you love it. You're so happy when you get back from validation rounding. I'm like, I do love it. I just love it. And she said, you know what I love? I said, no, what do you love? She said, I love doing our budget. I love doing our operational assessment. I love doing our schedule. I love doing payroll. I'm like, whoa, well, those are all the things that I do. And she said, yeah, let's switch. So we did. Genius, right? Genius. What do you love to do? Put that first. Make it a priority. And the fourth thing is to get back to basics. With a fitness routine, people think that you have to go to a gym, join a gym, pay for it, right? Wear tights and sweat a lot. Ew, who wants to do that? And with leadership, what I find happens is that leaders look at other leaders. They look at maybe someone who's been doing their job for a really long time and is a really high performing leader and seems to just have it all figured out, right? And they compare themselves to others. You can't compare yourself to anyone. Everyone's job is different. You have to get back to the basics. And we're here to help you do that, right? Don't miss 2 days from now, January 6th at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. We got you covered. It's our 66-day leadership resolutions and a leadership challenge. It's happening right here in Fans of the Framework. And we're going to teach you how to make micro baby steps towards greatness, and just to do 3 tiny things a day that will improve your leadership and your self-care. We're there for you. All right. See you in 2 days. Thanks, guys.